Happy Day of the Dead! Let's talk about ancestor work and what it means. So I have an ancestor altar that I keep up all year round, and I honor my ancestors all year round, not just today. And what does that actually mean, honoring your ancestors? Let's get into that. So different faiths all over the world have different versions of ancestor work, and they're going to each have their own take and their own flavor on how to do it. So I'm just going to be talking about my path and what I do, and if that works for you, amazing. If it doesn't, that's okay too. So here is a brief glimpse of my ancestor altar that I have up all year round. So what is on my ancestor altar and who is on my ancestor altar? Let's get into that. So for me, I consider my ancestors my spirit team. These can be people that I was genetically related to, but most of the people on my spirit team, on my ancestor altar, are not people or animals that I am related to. So that is something to keep in mind, that you don't necessarily have to be genetically related to your ancestors. I think this is really important because some people are adopted, some people have family members that they're not genetically related to, and to only try to narrow the scope like that can be insensitive and harmful. So I do have past pets on my ancestor altar. I have their remains with me on my altar, and I have past loved ones as well. And the people on my altar range from friends of mine that have passed to family members that have passed. And there's even a couple of celebrities that have passed. But these are all people on what I call my spirit team or my board of directors that I work with on a daily basis. They give me advice and counsel and sometimes just motivation. And in a lot of ways, they also protect me energetically and ways and things that I might not even be aware of. So they're just kind of still being my friend, still being my family member, still being my advisor in so many ways. Some of them just continued on when they moved on into the next realm from what they were doing while they were here in the living. A good example of people that you're not related to that you can have on your ancestor altar would be Carrie Fisher from Star Wars, right? She's known as Space Mom, and a lot of people venerate her, sometimes in a silly, joking fashion, sometimes in a serious fashion. And her energy is open to both, whether you're just doing it because you're a fan of her work or a fan of the message, or if you're spiritually actually working with Carrie Fisher. So I think that's an amazing example of how you can do ancestor work and not be related to who you're working with. Space Mom would want you to take your meds, and she'd be totally okay with you venerating her. The biggest thing to keep in mind when doing an ancestor altar is you don't really want to have any pictures of the living or anybody living on the same altar with on your ancestor altar. That's just kind of a standard practice across the board because you don't want to put the living in the realm of the dead. But other than that, it's pretty much do your own thing. You can follow your own culture, listen to your people. You are creating a relationship with these spirits as if they were right next to you. And what works for you and them, it might be completely different. These are relationships, and it's a personal practice, personal experience between you and your spirit team. I hope this helps, and I enjoy your work, and I hope you have a fabulous time visiting with your ancestors today.